Welcome to another edition of the Artist Bloc podcast. I'm your host, Patricia Schuler, and today we have a phenomenal guest coming on, singer, songwriter, influencer, all around dope person in general, SunQueen Kelcey.
Hello. Let me make sure I speak into the mic. Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming on the show.
Of
I'm so
course,
excited.
Of course. Me
Yes.
too. I can't wait to hear what we're talking about. I have so many things to say, so I'm like, oh, okay, this is going to be a great conversation.
Yeah, fantastic. I'm excited. So I met you originally when the Artist Bloc first opened. I feel like you were one of the very first performers to ever come here. And that was 7 years ago.
Yes,
Yeah.
a long time ago. That was also when I was with the band Dalton Village.
Yes, you were with Dalton Village. Yes.
Colin is still with me in my band, SunQueen and the Solar Flares, but he started with me in that band too.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then I know the night that y'all performed, I think was like our first creative infusion that we had here. And that night, fun fact, I wasn't even here. I was stuck on a film set, and I was supposed to be done by 10, but it was the last day of filming, and we ended up going to 3 a.m.
Oh, so you were doing big things
Yeah,
that night. Okay.
yeah, it was a real deal Holyfield.
Yeah. That's cool.
But eventually I met you, and then we've seen each other throughout the years and supported each other, and I'm just glad and happy that you're here. I love seeing your progress, what you're doing now. It's like Kelcey is just doing a damn thing.
Thank
you. So I'm very inspired by that, and I want to just let you know that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes.
It's great to hear the affirmations and the confirmations from people that I've known for years. Because sometimes as an artist, you don't feel like you're doing much. Sometimes you don't feel like things are going the way that you want them to go. But then you see somebody that's looking at it from the outside looking in, and they're like, I've seen you go from here to here, from A to B, and it was such a huge jump. And to you, it don't feel like that.
Yeah.
But when I get that affirmation from somebody, I'm like, okay, I'm doing something right.
Yeah.
I'm going someplace.
Yeah. No, you're doing it right.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're doing
You got to
your
be
thing.
honest about it, though.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about, what you got going on, including a new music video coming out. We're going to talk about that too. Don't tell them yet.
Okay.
Don't tell them yet.
Oh, I'm so excited.
But let's start in the beginning. Let's talk about the young Kelcey. How did you first discover your artistic abilities, and what made you decide to really pursue this?
The love of music started when I was in daycare. My mama would come pick me up, and this was, early 90s. And she would play, 99.1 and 102.1. And it would always be some Mary J. Blige going on, some Mariah Carey, Jodeci, Blackstreet. I was about to say Backstreet Boys. That was also something that I listened to. And I also like NSYNC, but that was neither here nor there. And so I would know all the words to these songs. And these songs would be grown as fuck too. Like 4-year-old me was singing the grownest lyrics, didn't know what I was singing, but I was shouting them at that time, thinking that it sounded great. But I knew that I loved music because of how easily I grasped the songs and how easily I caught on to the melody. Since then, my shouting went into sounding like something, and then it started to build and started to grow, and my love for music started to grow. And when I really got serious about it was when I entered into choirs in school. And I was in classical choir. I was in Sotto Voce. And I was also in chamber ensemble in high school. And we won national competitions. And I sang soprano 1.
Can you just break down what them two terms were? Did you
Yes.
Because I don't. Okay.
Thank you for asking. I ain't had to answer that question in a long time. So Sotto Voce means sweet voice. And so in high school, that was for women's choir only. And it was just a niche choir. Where it was only altos and sopranos that would sing some of the sweetest classical songs. And chamber ensemble was co-ed, but it went from bass to soprano, and you had your 1s, 2s, and 3s in between all of those. We went to San Francisco, and we won a national competition against all other high schools that were competing in that same one. And we were singing some difficult things by Morton Lordson, Pablo Neruda, Eric Whitaker, Bach.
Yes, I'm about to say, 'cause I don't
Beethoven,
know none of them.
Mozart,
Yes. Well, I know the last two, Beethoven, Mozart.
Yes. The classical ensembles that they would have, we would sing those. And it was very, very difficult music for high schoolers to be able to sing. But when I found out that I had the ability to do that, that just made me want to do it even more. But I also wanted to find my own style. So around the age of 21, after I had already got kicked out of UNCG. It's another story, very long story. I could break it down, but in short, I went to school for something other than music, and that was my biggest mistake. And so I dropped out, and then I entered back in, and then I got kicked out because I was not doing well. And then I realized the only thing I've been wanting to do my whole life was music. And so I would always think about those moments when I was a little girl singing these songs that I didn't know what the fuck was going on in these songs, but they sounded great to me.
Yeah.
And that was the one thing that kept me coming back. And that was one thing I can never take my mind off. And so I started to reach out to different bands to see if I could perform and sing for them or whatever. And that's how I found Dalton Village. And then it was just up from there. I just kept going.
Nice.
Yeah. Consistency was my thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you joined the band, did you know anybody, or you just was like, hey, I'm Kelcey, I want to sing?
Listen, the first band I joined, we had 3 rehearsals, and they indirectly kicked me out. And it was like this ska, reggae, punk, country band doing everything that they should not have been doing because it wasn't good music. But I can talk shit about them now, you know, because they did me wrong. But yeah. And so when I got kicked out of that, my last rehearsal was also combined with the lead person of that band taking me to go get my first guitar. And he helped me pick it out, and then he just never called me ever again. But I saw them like gigging and performing and stuff. I was like, well, fuck y'all niggas, you know? So then I started to look on Craigslist for another band, and that's how I met JT of Dalton Village. And I didn't know anybody in this group at all. I didn't know anybody in the other group either. But I kind of just stepped out on faith, and like I got lucky because they happened to be UNCG students as well. And it kind of just worked out from there. Like we started adding people, and it became this like R&B, soul, and rap group all in one. Yeah, with the guitar, with the bass, with a drummer, keyboardist, all these things.
I got three things for that.
Okay.
The first thing is, what made you not become discouraged when the first band like inadvertently kicked you out? Like, what made you like, you know what, this ain't the right fit, I'm just gonna keep moving forward? Because, you know, people give up. You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
Yeah.
I think I've given up on a lot of things. I've failed at a lot of things in my life, and there are just some things that I wanted so bad that I would do anything to continue with. So like dealing with the loss of my father, the loss of our house a year later from it burning down, and the loss of other family members and friends and things like that. I quit everything that didn't feel right. And that actually, I don't know, that made me, this is what my roommate tells me, I'm suited for change. I'm suited for things to not work out and for me to be able to move on from that. And so I think that's why, since something didn't work out the first time, I was like, well, how bad do I want this? Like, is this something that I can see myself with, you know, in the end of life? Can I see myself still saying that I'm a singer, I'm a musician? And yeah, so why not keep going? Because I didn't have no plan B or C or D.
That's beautiful and awesome and important for people to know, you know, because again, people do just like, oh, it didn't work out the first time, I'm going to quit. But it's like, no, that's how you learn. That's how you grow, is continuing to persevere through those challenges and those obstacles when they happen, you know?
Right.
So that was important. The second thing that you said, I didn't notice, but you like recently learned how to play the guitar, like as an adult. I just figured you like did it as a kid and you just grew up doing it. So what made you want to do that? Like pick up that instrument?
Well, okay. There was, I guess when I was like 12 or 13, I had started getting into like Avril Lavigne and like punk, emo, and rock and roll and things like that. And I was inspired by Avril Lavigne to start playing guitar, but that was also the same year that our house burned down and my guitar burned down with it. So I didn't touch a guitar until I was around 2021, and I would be walking around UNCG and seeing all these people with their guitars just on the sidewalk, like, you know, just doing the thing. And I'm like, that's the life I want. You know, I want to at least learn how to play good enough to be able to show someone how to play it better. You know, like that's what I do in my band right now. It's like I'll present songs that I've created on my acoustic guitar, and I have 2 amazing guitars, so it's no, why do I need to play? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mm-mm. But yeah, I learned later, and I encourage anybody that, wants to learn later to just pick it up and do it, because it's people that learn how to play an instrument at like 50, 60, 70 years old simply because they are dedicated to do it. It's just an interest and a hobby sometimes.
Yeah.
It's a passion for me, but I don't really strive to be great at it. I just strive to, get my message across.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
Don't expect nothing.
Do you like play by ear? Or how did you learn? Did you just teach yourself? And
I played by ear. I watched YouTube videos. I watched my friends play. I would learn how to play like cover songs, and then I would take chords from those songs and put them together and make my own song. So it was just however I could grab information, I just would do that.
Nice.
Yeah, I still can't read music. I sing my music and I write my music by ear.
Nice. Okay. It made me think about Drumlord. How he could read the music, but he could play.
Okay. Look, if I could play drums, that would be me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I tried to learn how to read music so many times, child. I'm just not dedicated enough.
I
like
got you.
It's like learning a different language. And I figured if I've gotten this far without knowing how to read music, I should be fine, because I don't really see myself throwing myself into situations where I should be able to read music, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. It's like it accompanies your not your major gift, but the gift that's in the forefront, which is your voice. Like the guitar is accompanying your voice. You know what I'm saying? So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't do no shredding. That's Malcolm and that's Colin on guitar. That ain't me.
Oh, so when you joined the band Dalton Village, how was that experience, and what made you transition to the path that you're on now?
That experience was an emotional roller coaster in the most positive way. It was my first experience being able to write and sing my own music and have it be embraced, and not have anyone try to control it. They just tried to work around it rather than control it. And also I felt like a strong sense of family and community of people that were trying to adult. I had that same kind of community when I was in choir, but we were kids, we were still indoctrinated by school then. But, after I got dropped out and kicked out, being able to find that sense of like kinship and kindred, that felt really good, to be able to do music with people that, were all of our, I guess, interests aligned and things like that. Yeah. I felt home.
Yeah. Well, what happened with the band?
I think that the bottom line is that we all had different ideas of what we wanted to do with the rest of our lives. And we just parted ways after a while. Somebody got a job opportunity in a different city. The other person had a girlfriend and moved away with that girlfriend. And we all were just like, well, this is what life does. Sometimes it just splits you apart. And again, that was the moment where I was like, well, I am suited for change. Yeah. So I know that most of the time bands don't usually last that long. Like a lot of bands break up, but that's just a part of the business and that's just a part of life. Yeah. So once we split, I just tried to do something different.
Yeah. Well, I guess, cause I remember you being in Dalton Village, and I remember you just being by yourself, like a solo act. And now you do have a band that you formulated. Is that the goal with what you're doing right now, is to always, like, I guess, formulate a band around you? Do you like that aspect as opposed to performing by yourself? You know what I mean?
I will say that I like the band aspect more, but I am trying to do a full variety. So I do still perform by myself. Sometimes I have my DJ with me, and sometimes I have like 2 other people with me, and then sometimes I have the full band. So it's really just like a full service kind of thing that I'm trying to do, so that I'm not stuck in this box. Like if somebody books me for a show and they can only pay for me, I can give you a good performance. If you book us for a show and you can pay for the whole band, we're going to give you a full band, great performance, you know? Yeah. So I'm trying to make sure that I am marketable in that way. And that I never block any money coming my way, you know? So I want to make sure I can give a good show in any form.
Gotcha. That makes me think about like artists now who can do like, they'll be solo, then they'll be in duets, and they'll be groups. So kind of like Wu-Tang, how they
Mhm.
can be a group, and then they can all have their solo acts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All go out and do their own thing. You know?
Mhm.
Yeah, interesting. So, with that being said, all right, Delta Village, y'all end up parting ways. You end up doing your thing, and really beginning this journey of becoming a full-fledged professional artist.
Right.
What was that like? What was your mind state like? And what was your approach and your strategy to that?
When I first started to become this artist that I am right now, I kind of followed like a few steps. I don't know if the step question is right here.
No.
Okay, then we're not going to talk about those steps. Ask me that question one more time.
Just when the band went its own ways and you began to move as a solo act, that process of really stepping into a professional artist and really like the mindset, because I think a lot of times people don't realize how important the mindset is when you're on any journey in particular, but to just like make up your mind, I'm going to be a full-fledged artist professionally. This is it. This is the life. What was that like? And what did you do to begin that process of doing that for yourself personally?
Oh, got you. I really didn't become a full-time artist until 2020 and really 2021, because 2020 took a lot of gigs for me. So before that, just trying to gig and trying to become this person had me working a full-time job on top of trying to be a full-time artist at the same time. And that was not sustainable, if I should say. Like, yeah, that's the best word I can think of. It's like that was not going to last long.
Why do you say it wasn't sustainable in terms of like the energy? It was just taking too much of your time.
Yes, it was taking way too much of my time, way too much of my emotional labor. Because I had to be a different person at work. And the real person I wanted to be was doing this type of shit, and performing and writing music. And I was working corporate jobs. Like, I was a recruiter, and then I worked at the front desk, and then I was an admin assistant, and all of that it took away pieces of my personality that made me feel so stuck and like just like I could not enjoy my life. And so as soon as I would get off of work, and I'm sure plenty of people know what I'm talking about here, like once you get off of work, you take off the mask and you can finally breathe. You can finally be yourself. And I did not like that as an artist because, we're all creative. So I knew that I wasn't going to be able to keep up working 40, 50, 60 hours for this other company that stifled my creativity and then try to put my all into music at the same time. Like I was cheating myself,
Yeah. How did you supplement your income when you made that decision? Like, I'm letting this go. I'm walking in this.
When I finally made that decision, I had actually saved up money, and I put money towards equipment. I put money towards my merch, and I made sure that I had at least enough to get me started. And then once that tour that I had set up last year would get going, I knew I would be making more money. Then the pandemic happened, so I quit my job back in December 2019, and I thought I was good. The pandemic happened, and all of the shows that I had recently set up for this national tour that I was going to do got canceled. Some of them were still virtual. Some of them were just not going to happen ever. And it was that moment that I was like, okay, so as an artist, you're creative and you must have something else that you can do if you can't sing right now. And so I just started to vend my merchandise at farmers markets. And so that's how I supplemented my income. And then I would do like songwriting for people, and I would do like little odd jobs here and there, especially driving Uber every once in a while. No, Lyft. Let's
be specific.
Let's be specific because Uber ain't shit. But Lyft, I was driving Lyft a little bit. And then every once in a while I have a show here and there. So I was making it work. I was struggling, but I was making it work. And I think that it was more like a test run, kind of, to just see what the first year of being a full-time musician was like. And for me to have like little to no income coming in, it was okay. 2021 is looking much better than 2020 did, though.
I love that you shared that, though, because I think that is important for people to hear and to know that sometimes when you do embark on this journey, you build yourself up. You ready. And then you get out there, like you get hit with something that
Smacked.
you were totally not expecting. Yeah. And you still didn't go back. You still continue to press forward, which I feel like has been the theme, like the recurring theme in your life when it comes to music, and making things happen. And I even love how you were like doubling down on the merch and going out and selling at farmers market, like that hustle. Because I think that's important. You got to have that hustle.
You
know
do.
what I mean?
You do. I do want to make sure that I say this, though. I feel like it's all situational for people because I had a particular situation that set me up for that. But I know if I didn't make the money that I did at my previous job, I would not have been able to do that because I wouldn't have been able to save. Like in my mind, and factually, I know that the only way that you can save money is to make more money. So if you're not making a lot of money, you're not going to be able to save. You're going to be spending money on your bills, spending money just to survive. And the job that I had gave me some cushion to be able to put something away. But if I was working something that made less, I wouldn't have no cushion. I would still be trying to work that job and do music full time. So I had a different situation. And sometimes I think that it's not about hustling. It's really about your background and the structure that you came from and the structure that you're in. If you're working for, a job that's paying $7.25 and then you have to work 2 of those jobs, you're not really going to be able to do music. And that's not your fault because you just don't have time. But I got lucky and got a job that made more than that. So, yeah.
Since we went over there, do you think it would be wise? I mean, for one, I feel like the biggest component of what you just said was you worked and you saved your money to prepare you for that. You didn't just like, all right, I ain't got no savings, I'm jumping out here. You know what I'm saying? Do you think it's wise for you to do that, for a person to do that, to put themselves in a situation where they'll be able to accumulate enough money to have a savings and then take that journey, as opposed to just completely jumping out there and not necessarily having any type of financial backing or savings or anything like that?
I wouldn't say that it's not wise. I would say some people are just way more faithful than I am. Like some people would just take that risk. And sometimes I just play it safe in life because growing up poor, you really had to play safe. I think the people that know how to stretch and save the most money are the poorest people. And growing up like that, my mama tried her best to spoil, but she's a teacher. We all know teachers don't get paid shit.
Yeah.
They do the most work and get paid nothing for that. So it's like, I think that some people can do it and some people can walk out on faith and make it happen. But a lot of times when you hear success stories about that, those people didn't come from nothing. I feel like everybody that says started from the bottom, now we here, I did this all by myself, always a lie. Right. You either came from money, you got lucky, got a loan, you got somebody to invest in you, or you are forgetting about everybody that helped you in this collaboration called life. And so I saved up my money, but again, that included me being put into situations that could get me there. Like somebody had to set up that job interview for me to get that job. Somebody had to choose me to get that job, and then my mom had to do the best she could to help me out if I didn't have money back in the day. So like, yeah, like you can step out on faith, but you got to be ready for like the consequences of doing that. And Kelcey was not ready. I've been to where, my bank account is in the negatives. I ain't got nothing. And so I didn't want to feel like that and have to struggle like that if I didn't have to, so yeah. That's all.
I feel you. That's
all I got to say
a
about
part
that.
of the Adulting 101 book. But bringing it back to 2020 and 2021 and you doing your thing professionally and stepping out there. What I noticed about you is like your social media presence increased dramatically. And I saw that you started having partnerships. So how did that come about?
Child, I will say that it was the perseverance of me creating my own marketing plan and growing my own page. I didn't have any help with that. The label that I'm signed to did pay for marketing to get my songs out there and to get streams up and get me on playlists and things like that. But when it came to my Instagram page, that was simply just me learning the algorithms and learning the best times to post and how to how to increase the like likelihood of somebody adding you back, you know. The partnerships came from, I guess, them just seeing that I had like 10K plus followers, and they were like, oh, she seems like somebody that can market our clothes or whatever. But that wouldn't have come if I hadn't grown the followers, because that's all they care about, you know.
Yeah. What did you learn when you say you started studying the algorithm and learning when to post and learning how to get people to follow you back? How did you learn that, and what did you learn?
So my good friend Denzel, No Not Washington, was the one that gave me these tips. I DM'd him one day because Denzel also has like 13,000 plus followers. And I was like, this is somebody that I need to talk to. And he was very, very open with how he did it. I don't really know if like I should just be throwing out these secrets like that, but you know, this was a DM conversation. I'm like, but I learned that there's like a little statistics bar in your Instagram, and you really need to pay attention to like when your followers are online the most, when your engagement is the least, and pay attention to what people like and don't like. You know, there are some things that are boring to post. You know, you need quality photos. When Instagram loves photos and they love videos. However, if you post a video at the wrong time of day, like say I post a video at like 10 a.m. on a Wednesday morning, most of my followers are at work. No one's going to see that, you know, but if I post it at 6 o'clock on Wednesday, I know more people will see it. Or 3 o'clock when some people are just like picking up their kids from school or something like that, more people will see it. So just little things like that are actually provided in your account you can pay attention to, but you have to switch it to like a business store account or a creator account. If you can't, if it's like a regular account, I don't think they show you those stats. I'm not sure. I haven't had a regular account for a minute, but it's easy to switch it over. Yeah. So it's just simple shit like this. And you can Google everything. And Instagram changes their algorithm constantly. So you can stay up on like these articles that people write about the algorithm changing. But you look up those steps. And one of the other things I'll say is start following people, and that'll start following people that are connected to what you're doing. So if I want to be a body positive influencer, a plus size influencer, I would follow plus size influencers. And then I might even go to their post and follow the people that are following them. And that may increase the likelihood of them following me back when they look at my page. So simple things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Appreciate that information.
No problem. It's not really a secret, but I didn't want to tell you verbatim what Denzel told me, because I'm like,
yeah, no, it's all good.
Thank you, Denzel.
What's the plan now? Now that you are full time, now that you've gotten your social media marketing strategy down packed, and you're building and you're growing from that, what's the plan? What do you see happening for you?
Well, that's a hard question to ask, because I don't really have an end goal. I think my goals are spaced out throughout the rest of my life, like getting into bigger festivals, booking more weddings, getting higher paying gigs, which a lot of times is weddings. And I don't know, like I think it's those things that will create a longevity for my career, rather than me saying I want to be a star or I want to just go mainstream, because what I'm doing is what I want to do for the rest of my life, but I want it to be bigger. I want it to have more money involved. I want it to be a lifestyle. But I never really say that mainstream pop star is my end goal, because that's not what I see for myself. I just see longevity. Like I think that's the best way to say it. Like if my original music doesn't work out, if that doesn't pop, I'll be a wedding singer, because performing and singing is my favorite thing to do. So like, why not perform for somebody's happiest day of their lives? You know, why not sing their favorite song? Why not dance with them, you know, when the party is going up at the reception or something, or at a corporate event or somebody's birthday? Like, why not do that? Yeah.
I like that answer. For many reasons. For one, it reminded me of, I watch it's this new show called Uncensored that comes on TV1, and they just had Loretta Devine up there, the actress, and she said that her goal was never to be a star; it was to be a working actress and to always be able to make money from acting. So that's what it reminds me of. Yeah, and I was thinking like it's important to figure out what type of artist you want to be within your medium, you know, because some people do want to be like quote unquote pop stars or, you know, whatever the case may be. But, to think about, you could be a wedding singer or you could be a person that goes to different festivals, you know what I'm saying? Or I don't know, other components, but to think about that and think about the different ways that you could still continue to move and work and make money as an artist. Because I think too, sometimes media is brainwashing you to believe that like you could only be like a Beyonce or, somebody that's on TV, but that's not the reality of the situation. You know what I mean? So yeah. Another thing you said that you were talking about is like the fact that you're talking about like festivals and weddings and stuff like that. Are you getting these gigs from networking? Are you like putting yourself out there, like making like posters or posts or something like that? Like, how do you approach that? Both?
Yeah, I think I've gotten like 85% of my gigs from knowing other people. And that's why I think it's like so important for people to not lie and say they did it all by themselves. Because like I wouldn't have gotten into Shakori Hills if somebody didn't get me booked at the Poorhouse, and if the person that was booking for the Poorhouse didn't suggest me for, like, they didn't recommend me for Shakori Hills. And Shakori Hills brings in like 55,000 people per year. I never would have gotten asked to do like Durham Pride if someone hadn't seen me and recommended me for that. Or Apex Peak Fest, which just passed by. Somebody saw me and talked to the board of directors and they asked me to come through. So like most of these are just by me maintaining a relationship with people. I'm not the type to go into a space where I'm about to perform and talk shit about other performers. I'm the type that I will congratulate you, I will root for you, and I will do my best to make sure that you know that I'm in your corner. Until you disrespect me. However, gotta make that clear. But yeah, I think that I've seen the least amount of bookings from me reaching out to people on my own.
Interesting.
I know that sucks too because I reached out to a lot of people. Like last year, I think I sent maybe 300 emails at the beginning of 2020, and I heard back from 3.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Ain't that some bullshit? Yeah. But out of those 3, I booked 2. Then those got canceled or whatever. But again, like just me networking and I guess me showing up and giving light and love wherever I go. I at least try to do that.
So what's your training regimen when it comes to staying up on your skills as a singer, songwriter, and as an entrepreneur?
I probably need more training, but let's start with sometimes I will sit down and I will study lyrics upon lyrics upon lyrics for a couple hours. That keeps me sharp with being able to sing all these wedding songs and then being able to keep up with my own songs. And I usually go through a process. If I'm struggling to memorize these lyrics, I go through a process of writing the lyrics down by hand and then studying piece by piece. So like studying a verse and then studying a chorus and then studying, so on and so on. So that's what I do mentally. And look, I'm telling you, like me and my bandmates, we were talking about like what is more difficult, learning the chord progressions and the patterns in the music or learning different lyrics for every song. And I was like, I think they're equally difficult because every song is different. So it's not like a pattern is really going to be there. But when it comes to doing music, I mean, first of all, you got to know how to read music and then you got to know how to play that music. And then you got to know the chord progressions and where the lyric is where you change and transition to a different, level of the song. So anyways, aside from that, when it comes to anything physical, I should probably do a lot more. Like I feel like I should be working out the way Lizzo works out, but I do not.
Shout out to Lizzo. I love Lizzo.
Listen, Lizzo is amazing, a freaking beast. Like, oh my God, the way that she can sing and dance and basically do jumping jacks on stage is crazy to me.
Yes.
And I'm active on stage, but bruh, I can't do that shit. But anyway, so for physical shit, I like low impact exercises. I also have PCOS, so low impact exercises are better for me anyway.
What's PCOS?
It's polycystic ovarian syndrome, and it's where you some people that have it develop like cysts on their ovaries, but it affects you mentally, physically, and emotionally. It makes you feel tired all the time. Some people are infertile for that moment that they have the syndrome. Some people have very difficult, heavy, and painful periods. Other people may suffer from like insulin resistance and just overall feeling just like you in a funk all the time, like you got brain fog, like you really just don't even want to get out of bed. You can have severe depression, you can have emotional mood swings. It's just, yeah. And it's apparently it hasn't been discovered for a long time, but they're thinking that, you know, people with ovaries and with uteruses have had it for a long time, and that more people have it than are getting diagnosed. So yeah. Anyways.
It's okay.
Yeah. Low impact exercises like swimming, like yoga, walking, just doing things that get your blood flowing and will seem like it's, you know, cardio, but not really taking you off this earth like cardio does.
Oh yeah.
You feel me? Yes. I'm talking about when you want to die because you working out so much. Like maybe you have a personal trainer and they not being easy on you, and you just want to go to bed.
Right.
You want to cuss somebody out.
Yeah. I just be wanting to sit still for a moment. Like, let me have a moment.
I'll be wanting to go home, you know? Yes. So yoga and swimming. Swimming is my favorite thing to do, period, when it comes to anything physically active. Yoga is next. Walking, when it comes to walking, I will walk and sing lyrics at the same time. It don't sound good though, y'all. It do not sound good. I'm really just trying to build up my endurance and my lung capacity when I do that.
Yeah.
Because I'm active on stage, but like, again, I'm not no Lizzo on stage, but I can't do the things that I do on stage without me trying to do something with my body outside of, you know, performing.
Yeah. I heard that before with other performers. I feel like it was Outkast. I think they were talking about when they were trying to get a record deal, Organized Noise will make them run and say their rap lyrics at the same time to build up their stamina. Yeah.
Yes, it is hard. It's very difficult. Oh my gosh.
But we've come to the big segment of the show. Today, I'm going to coin it the Playbook.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
I thought about that today. I feel like I said it before, but I'm making it official today.
That's
so
cool.
This is the Playbook.
Yeah.
You're going to give people 5 steps, actionable steps that they need to take in order to become an entrepreneur and to get into the game.
Okay. These are my 5 steps. Number 1, study your art form. Study what it is you want to do. Look at the greats that also did that. You don't have to mimic anybody, but you do need to take some tips. Next would be to prepare and arrange what you're going to do, and then practice that. Then go out and perform it. Take notes. Listen to constructive feedback. Don't listen to the bullshit that people say, you know, trying to bring you down and trying to, you know, discourage you from moving on. But just keep that in mind that everybody can get better. You know, everybody deserves some improvement in whatever they're doing. And then go back and repeat all those steps. Like, yeah, don't ever stop studying. Don't ever stop learning, and don't ever stop practicing. Because like perfection to me don't exist. And striving for perfection can be very boring and can take the fun out of things, but you can get close to it and it can be more enjoyable for you to strive to be better.
Yeah. That's the thing, is like continuing to do it. Like, I feel like people like do it one time and they're like, oh, I did it. It's like, nah, you got to keep doing it over and over and over again, you know, in order to be great at it. Yeah. This has been fantastic.
Yes, I enjoyed this.
Yes. But before you go, we got to talk about your new music video that's coming out. So talk to us about that.
Y'all, there are 2 music videos coming out on the same day. So the first one I'll talk about, I did a song with Gerard Azad.
Yes.
It's
we love
called
Gerard.
New. I know everybody loves Gerard. It's called New. It's a lovely duet, and it's on my album called See Attached, and it's available on all platforms. That video is dropping this Friday, September 17th. And that was shot by Deuce Through the Lens.
Mhm.
And then the second video is a collaboration I did with Benji Cinco, which we also all love.
We do love Benji,
Mhm.
yes.
And that is a duet. It's really cute, and it's called Brown Skin Bay. And that will be dropping on Friday, September 17th as well at the same time.
They're both dropping at the same time on the same
Same
day?
day, same time. I am
Wow.
on both of them.
Wow.
We did not intentionally set it up like that, but it kind of just happened,
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So tell the people how they can get in contact with you. They want to get in contact with you and follow you.
You can find me on all streaming platforms. So that's, I have Instagram, I have Facebook, I have Twitter, and all of that is SunQueen Kelcey. And my website is sunqueenkelcey.com. And email address is sunqueenkelcey@gmail.com. Look at me on Instagram because that's where I am the most active. If you follow me on Twitter, you may get crickets. However, you'll see me liking everybody else's stuff. Facebook, I reserve for my family members because I can't show my ass on Facebook. But I can on Instagram. So watch me there.
Okay. Okay. I asked this and then we'll close it out.
Okay.
You basically given your curriculum, the SunQueen Kelcey curriculum, to getting into this game. What would be their homework tonight before they come to your class tomorrow and begin? What they need to do tonight to prepare?
I would say think about an end goal and try to envision yourself in that end goal, and also decide if you are the type of person that can do many different things well, or if you need to focus on one thing. I need to focus on one thing. I am not a videographer, a singer, a dancer, all in one.
Right.
I am a singer and a songwriter and everything that goes in with that. But, I don't do all these other things. I have friends that do that. I hire them to do that. But I think a lot of artists do get lost trying to do too much. And in turn, they can't really excel at the one thing that they know they're good at because they're trying to be everything. Yeah. So, yeah. Hone in on something.
Right.
Figure that out.
I love that. Figure out your place.
Yes. Your lane.
Yes,
what
your
lane do you need to be in? Yes. Find your lane, please.
I love that. But thank you again for coming on the show. I appreciate it. I think you gave some great information today. Dropped some real major jewels that I think are going to help people along the way. And I'm just looking forward to continuing to watch you grow and rise.
Thank you. I appreciate it. This was fun to be here. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
Yes.
Like, I'm here with my broken finger featuring, and I decided this was going to be a great day, and it turned out to be amazing. So thank you for having me on the show and asking me all these questions because I really had a lot to say. Whew, y'all got a lot to cut.
Yeah. It's all good. Well, thank y'all for tuning in for another edition of the Artist Bloc podcast. I am your host, Patricia Schuler. You can find me on social media at Patricia Schuler, and we'll catch you next time.